Mid-mount mower, rear finish mower. Which should you choose? Hey guys, Zach here from Kubota of Lynchburg, and today I wanted to go over the pros and cons and the differences between a mid-mount mower deck on a tractor and a rear finish mower on a tractor. So this is one of those questions we get a lot when we're selling tractors here, or somebody's buying a used one. What's cheaper? What's better? What's your pros and cons between the two? So I'm going to go over that real quick. Your mid-mount is probably honestly more common these days than a rear finish mower. I feel like 10, 15 years ago, rear finish mowers were a little bit more common, but now almost every small tractor, even medium-sized tractor, can take a mid-mount belly mower. Mid-mount belly mowers are almost always side discharge. So you can see here, it's mounted in the middle of the tractor. It's got your side discharge. All the grass clumpings and clippings and leaves and everything like that will come out of the side of the mower deck. Where on the rear mount, you can get a side discharge mower deck, but the majority of the time, all of your clippings actually come out of the rear. It's called a rear discharge. So you have this entire section where the clippings and grass is coming out of. Why is one better versus the other? Well, a rear mount isn't going to leave quite as pretty stripes as a mid mount because it's just dropping the grass once it cuts it. It's also not keeping the grass inside as much. So, you can imagine you're cutting the grass, and on a mid mount, it's having to push all that grass through all three blades multiple times to reach the exterior of it. So it's basically chopping it up a little finer, a little bit better mulching. Whereas this one, it just cuts it and drops it and lays it down. So a little bit better striping and a little bit better mulching with the mid-mount. But on the rear, you can go through much thicker material. Because you're discharging over, this one's a 72-inch wide finish mower, you're discharging out of 72 inches rather than 13 inches. That grass, if it's this tall, all right, sure, rear finish mower, go for it, hit it. If it's the mid-mount mower deck, you better not be cutting more than, yay high, or else you're gonna have to really slow down, or it's gonna bog down the mower deck and bog down the engine. So thicker material, rear finish mower. The smaller material, the shorter material, go with mid-mount. So speaking of material on it, let's talk about the thickness of material. So a finish mower, they're going to basically be the same as far as blades and spindles and bearings. So this is designed for grass. This is not a bush hog. Some people try to use it as a bush hog. Please don't. It's not designed for the thicker material. So thickness of material, same one versus the other when it comes to finish mower versus mid-mount. Now I hooked this up for this video. This is a nice used B3200 we have for sale, and it had the mid-mount mower deck on it. I hooked this up for the video. It is much easier to hook and unhook a rear implement than it is a middle implement. Because on the middle implement, you got to get up underneath there and reach the PTO shaft. And if that's been, if that's been clogged up with dirt and debris and everything, getting that mid-mount mower deck disconnected from the tractor can be difficult. Then you got to drag it and slide it out to the side and then back the tractor away. And then you got to push it back underneath, hook everything back up, pain in the butt hooking up a middle. On the rear, great, you've got your 3-point, you've got your top link, you've got your PTO, and 2. And if you have a quick hitch or something like that, easy. So if you're going to be switching between implements a lot, or you don't want the middle mower deck on your tractor a lot, a rear is much easier to hook and unhook when it comes to that side. But the next thing I'm going to talk about is maneuverability. So if I don't have the finish mower in the back of my tractor stops there. I can back up to things, I can do tight turns, but if I had on this finish mower, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 foot of extra length is added onto this tractor, where in the middle of the tractor, there's no added length. So when you're talking about cutting in yards and properties that's going to be a tight property with a lot of trees or fences or bushes, maneuvering around with a mid-mount belly mower is just like a riding tractor. It's just like a riding mower. It's so easy, you don't even have to think about it. It's also so easy to see the edges of your mower deck. So on this one, you got to be craning back constantly and looking at your back side of the mower deck here to make sure you're not hitting fence posts or anything. But when you're on this tractor, right-hand side is even easier, or left-hand side is easier. This one, you can basically see as you're sitting there exactly where your side is. You don't have to be turning around and looking down or anything like that to it. Now you can see this guy's backed into something before and it's nice and bent, but at least that's cheap and easy to fix rather than solid metal. So visibility is easier, Turn radius, a million times easier because you go from basically a 10-foot long tractor to a 15-foot long tractor. But if you're going in just straight fields, open pasture, rear finish mower, you don't have to worry about major turns other than each row. Rear is not that much of a big deal, but middle is going to be way easier on that. Another consideration is going to be deck height adjustment. So on a mid-mount belly mower, it's pretty easy. You raise your hydraulics, you set your deck height, usually with a knob in between your legs telling you what height it's going to be. Normally ends up being like maximum 4.5 inches of cutting height you can get to, because you're going to be hitting the tractor if you go any higher than that. On a finish mower, you can set it to be a higher height, which is nice. So you can cut 6-7 inches off the ground. Heck, you can raise it up. It doesn't have to be riding on the ground. You can cut it. And you do that by bushings usually on each wheel that it rides on. So it is a little bit more difficult to adjust your height, but you can raise that height. Speaking of height, damaging the mid-mount belly mower is a lot easier than damaging a rear finish mower, because you can raise this all the way off the ground to go over a ditch, to go over stumps or rocks, where that mid-mount belly mower is only going to sit there so far off the ground, that much off the ground, so you don't have any ground clearance, and you're going to hit everything you drive over. It's going to drag on everything, it's going to bend the mower deck, it's going to break the wheels off, where this is a lot safer on rough terrain. So keep that in mind as well. Maintenance is going to be very similar, except for, again, you can easier access everything on the rear finish mower because you don't have a tractor sitting over top of everything. So all your grease fittings, getting to your blades, you can pick it up with your 3-point hitch. It sits up far enough off the ground. You can slide your little cart underneath it and change your blades or sharpen your blades. Middle mower deck, you're going to have to take that thing on and off. So what it comes down to is, do you need the turn radius? Do you want that easier visibility of seeing the sides of it? Do you want that side discharge for the prettier stripes? You go with a mid-mount belly mower. And there are some that have drive-over options to it to make it easier to take on and off. It's not that much easier, but it does make it a little bit easier. Or are you doing large areas with thicker material, and you want to be able to just hook and unhook quick and easy and switch between implements and everything like that, so you don't have something on the middle of your tractor, then you go with a finish mower. So those are the main points of finish mower versus mid-mount mower. So next time you're thinking about buying a tractor with a lawnmower attachment, take that into consideration.